Ready?
You're speaking the Queen's language.
Yote. Kiingereza. Yeah. We going to proceed now? Wale wengine? Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, members of the Fourth Estate. I have called you here so that I can respond to some allegations that were leveled against me by CS Defense, Honorable Eugene Wamalwa, while appearing on our local FM station, Sule FM, this morning. In his address to the people of Mulembe Nation who had tuned in to listen to him, he made several allegations. One, he said that I have been abusing him in all the rallies that have been moving around in Bungoma and the Mulembe Nation as a whole. He goes ahead to allege that he is the one who brought me to politics, and that on that basis I should respect him. He went further to say that he bought me my first vehicle and that I lived in his house. When I first came to Nairobi as a member of parliament, that I gave me his house where I lived. I want to answer him as follows. And at the end of my press statement, the people of Mulembe Nation will know who is the conman between me and the CS for Defense Eugene Wamalwa, and who is insincere between me and the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa. I will be giving you evidence to support what I'm going to tell you. I joined politics in 2013. That was the first time that I attempted to rally the people of Kimilili constituency to elect me as their member of parliament. In 2013, I was with Musalia Mudavadi in a party called UDF. The Honorable Eugene Wamalwa was the party leader of New Ford Kenya by that time. His candidate was Nicholas Simiyu Toiwa in 2013 general elections. So while I was running as a member of parliament for Kimilili in 2013 in a UDF ticket, and he was the party leader of New Ford Kenya with his candidate, the late Nicholas Simiyu Toiwa, you can therefore know that he is not the one who brought me to politics, but he was the one fighting me not to be a member of parliament for Kimilili constituency. But we all lost. Myself and his candidate, we lost to Suleiman Murunga of Ford Kenya. So from that statement, you know who is telling the truth and who is perpetuating lies. The second thing he said that he supported me during 2017 general elections. I am not going to deny or agree, but I want to say the following. While I had decamped from ODM to Jubilee Party in the month of May 2017, the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa preferred Engineer John Wenya, who was his close ally for very many years. So while we were in the same party, Jubilee, the CS Eugene Wamalwa supported Engineer John Wenya so that he can defeat me during Jubilee Party primaries. But I thank God I went against his wishful thinking and beat his preferred candidate at that time, Engineer John Wenya, and I was given the nod to fly the Jubilee flag insofar as the Kimilili parliamentary seat was concerned. So this therefore tells you that at that time, at that point in time, He was not supporting me. He was supporting his friend, whom they were together in Newford, Kenya for very many years, Engineer John Wenya, whom I beat. He never stopped there. Engineer Wenya went in as an independent candidate, of which again, in the main elections, I beat him. Now, when it was clear that I was the one to fly the Jubilee Party ticket, and Eugene Wamalwa was part of the bigger regional campaign team, of course playing a second fiddle to Ken Lusaka, who was the Jubilee point man in Western Kenya. He had no choice but then to support me. He attended all the political rallies that were organized in my constituency by Jubilee Party. And by that time, he could not have done otherwise but to support me. And notably, I remember this one meeting that he organized in a place called Musembe. Musembe is a place where Eugene was born. We went there, and the people of Musembe, I want to appreciate them that they voted me to a man. I got 95% of total vote cast at that time in that polling station. So if that is what makes him say that he supported me in my campaigns, I want to agree. But during my campaigns in that particular area, we agreed with the people of that particular area that they would vote for me, and in turn, I have to build their school, which is St. Michael Musembe Primary School. As I speak now, last year I put up 15 classrooms, and as we speak now, I'm going there next week to launch further 8 classrooms, bringing to a total of 23 classrooms. So I have paid his debt, awache makasiriko. The third thing that amazed me is his claim that he bought me the Prado when I came to Nairobi as a member of parliament. And I want to say the following. Immediately, President Uhuru Kenyatta won his re-election in 2017. He named his partial cabinet. Eugene Wamalwa was left out of Uhuru Kenyatta's partial cabinet in 2018. All the media houses reported that Eugene Wamalwa had been sacked. Eugene Wamalwa called me in a restaurant in Westlands. I met with him. The CS was literally crying. Was crying because he has been left out of the cabinet. And the newspapers and every media house reported that Eugene Wamalwa had been sacked. And he told me that the president has told him that he was going to appoint him as an ambassador for Kenya in Uganda, stationed in Kampala. So the guy told me that, you are a member of parliament, of which I am because his ancestral land is in Kimilili constituency. And he told me that if I can bring all Jubilee MPs from Western and threaten the president that we are going to decamp to NASA if he was not going to reappoint Eugene Wamalwa to his cabinet. I did exactly as we agreed. I tried to bring all the Jubilee MPs together for a press conference. The only member of parliament who turned up by that time was the Honorable Emmanuel Wangwe, member of parliament for Navaholo. And I was very categorical. I did say at that time, I remember that one was on January 10th, 2018. And I said that the Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, if you are not going to reappoint the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa back into your cabinet, I was going to lead all Jubilee elected members of parliament to NASA because we will not have benefited from your government. And all the newspapers reported what I said. This is a copy of a standard newspaper on what they reported there. And I will give you a copy, you can read for yourself. So, I continued with this kind of things, Since I was born, I had never received a phone call from the sitting President of the Republic of Kenya. Uhuru Kenyatta called me 3 times to reprimand me because at that time NASA was disputing the elections. They were moving all over the road, and any member that could have made such kind of a statement could not have gone down well with the president. He called me, he reprimanded me because of the respect I had for him. From that time, I never picked the president's phone calls, but I continued to demand the reappointment of the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa. I remember even one day, a few days ago, even the DP also began to call me, and I was dodging him because I knew he will kind of reprimand me, and I can fire back, and to avoid disrespecting him, I avoided picking the call of the deputy president, and continued with my rallying call, urging the government to reappoint Eugene Wamalwa back to cabinet, failure of which I said we are going to move to NASA and join the members of the opposition. About a week later, Honorable Eugene called me again in the same place. This time around, he was not crying. He was smiling. And he told me that the president has assured him that he's going to redeploy him to man a different ministry, away from the Ministry of Water. But we agreed that even though he has been promised, I am not going to relent on my continued call for the government, for the president to reappoint him until that time when I will be sure that he has been reappointed. Indeed, it was very true. After about a month or so, the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa was given to run the Ministry of Devolution. He called me again. This time around, he had several friends, and they were drinking whiskey in celebratory mood. So when I arrived there, the guy got excited. He told me, Honorable, my MP, you cannot be driving this old Prado KCE. Now, I have a friend of mine whom I'm going to send you to him. There is a very nice black V8. This black V8 is, it was costing about 11.7 million. He asked me, how much money are you able to raise? I told him I can raise 7 million shillings, which I had the money somewhere ready. So the guy said, he gave me his aide to call Jeff Matumbai. We went to Smart Cars around the Yaya. I picked the car. I paid my 7 million shillings. All the documents of that car was rendered to me. And I drove the car away. So the balance of 4.2 million was to be paid by Eugene Wamalwa as a gift to me for putting the government on toes to reappoint him as CS, something which I did very well. Now, it came another hurdle after about 2 months. You know, in March 2019, almost a year later, he began engaging in supremacy battles with the Speaker of the Senate, Ken Lusaka, on who should be William Ruto's running mate in 2022 elections. At that time, Raila Odinga was still masquerading as the people's president after swearing himself in. He had not engaged in a handshake yet, and the government was intact. All Jubilee members of parliament, we were choir masters of Uhuru Tano, Uhuru Kumi, and William Kumi. So this Eugene Wamalwa began engaging in a supremacy battle with Ken Lusaka on who is the Luya kingpin that should represent the interests of the Lembe community when he meets with William Ruto. And with me at that time, I was in Ken Lusaka's camp. So the guy tried to convince me to support him. At no avail. I said I'm with Ken because Ken is the senior most, the Mlembe person at that time, being a speaker of the Senate. Now, our meeting, which we disagreed from a house in Webuye, when I came in Nairobi, I found a letter from a lawyer on behalf of Smart Cars Limited, giving me 7 days to pay 4.2 million or I was to be taken to court. I was very surprised, and I said, how can I pay the money that I'm sure the money was paid by the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa? Little did I know that these people had already gone to court and filing documents. So on Wednesday, March 20th, I saw an advertisement on the newspaper. They had filed insolvency proceedings, wanting to declare me bankrupt for the debt of 4.2 million shillings. That advert was here. All the newspapers reported that why community member of parliament is about to lose his seat because they were to declare me bankrupt for failure to pay 4.2 million shillings, the debt that was emanating from that same car that this hermaphrodite Eugene Wamalwa claims he bought for me. This is this year. So I paid this money 4.2 million shillings. It is at that time that I even realized that the market value for that car was 7 million shillings. So the extra 4.2 million shillings that they had put on top and they convinced me that it was to be paid by Eugene Wamalwa was part of the thieving characters of his aides who became like brokers. So they put extra levy on that money or that car. So when Eugene Wamalwa goes on a national radio alleging that he bought me that car, and with the evidence that I have given you, you can know who is a conman, who cannot be trusted. It was very unfortunate for such kind of a statement to come from a fella in the name of Eugene Wamalwa. Lastly, the guy has been saying that I have been abusing him left, right, and center. Something that I want to vehemently deny. I am not like him. I respect people's children. And I also want to urge him to reciprocate with the same civility by respecting other people's children. He may not know the procedure, the pain that one goes through to give birth to a child. He may not know the resources that one has to accrue to enable a child to grow to my age and to occupy my position. But I just want to ask him for the sake of people who are listening to me, that he must respect people's children. He may not know the procedure of getting one. Now, when he says that I have been abusing him, I have not been abusing him. I have only been reminding him that the position he holds as ministers, as a cabinet minister, that position he was given because of our community. When the government, when Uhuru Kenyatta was doing regional balancing, he balanced him. He appointed him from the Mlembe nation, and he is therefore supposed to advance the interests of the Mlembe people. And I have been telling him three things. One, that when he was minister for water, the taps, water taps in the Bungoma County ran more dry. Water taps in the Trans Nzoia County ran more dry. Water taps in Kakamega County and the whole of Western Province ran more dry. As we speak today, 70% of the parts of Western Kenya do not have piped water. Yet, we have always been disadvantaged to floods, to water oozing even in people's bedrooms, natural clean water oozing from people's bedrooms and people's compound, and the government has been unable to harness them. Worst of it is when one of our own was in charge of water in this country. Secondly, when he was moved from the Ministry of Water to the Ministry of Devolution, at that time, the governor of Kakamega was also elected the chair of the Council of Governors. While the chairman of the Council of Governors, Wycliffe Ambesa Oparanya, used that position to rally donors to wall Kisumu Kakamega Road from around Amalemba to beyond Masinde Muliro University. Our own Governor Wycliffe Wangamati had the same idea of dwelling Kandui. He was dwelling Kandui Bungoma Road from Musikoma to around Kandui area. And our own governor had to budget 1.2 billion shillings money for development for the people of Bungoma to dwell that road because our own CS was in charge of devolution, was unable to rally donors to dwell this road. He was outmuscled by the chair of the Council of Governors in getting donors to do the road. So when I remind him that, my friend, you are sleeping on duty, the community has never benefited from your leadership, and that you are unable to use the position you hold to enrich the community, I am not insulting you, the CS Defense Eugene Omalo. I want to tell you that I have been a member of parliament for the last 3 years. In my constituency, I eradicated grass-thatched houses. I have bought an ambulance to assist my people. I have built 48 schools from scratch, out of which 16 are story buildings. There is no magic that I'm using that you cannot use. All these cabinet secretaries who have been given positions, they use those positions to enrich the people where they come from. So when I remind you that a nominated MCA in Bungoma or Western Kenya is of much more benefit to the people of Mlembe Nation because he can convince his or her governor to gravel a particular road is more important than you, that is not an insult. And I will continue repeating it anywhere, everywhere. And lastly, I want to tell the CS Eugene Omalo that all these years that he has been in government, the only gift prize that he can bring back to the people of Western Kenya is a party called DAP. While it is his own democratic right to form a political party, I want to tell him that when you form a political party, you are supposed to seduce members to join it. You are supposed to convince Kenyans to join it. And you are not, we members of parliament from Western Kenya, we are not going to join your party because of your blackmail. And I want to tell the people who care to listen that what Eugene Omalo was saying was part of his blackmailing character so that he can blackmail me into joining his party. I want to tell you that I am ready to face you even as a DAP candidate for community parliamentary seats in August. I am ready. I'm not going to join your party. I will remain in UDA where I am and continue with your blackmail, but I can assure you that the people of community constituency are not fools. In terms of planning of development, they know that while I respect you as my senior, both by age and in politics, and by virtue of the position you hold, maybe that part of the brains that plans development, that part of the brains that prioritizes what is required to advance the economic well-being of the people that vote for us, maybe if I remove it from my head and put it in your head, you can run mad because you cannot be able to withstand and carry that one. Mimi ningependa kusema machache kuhusu matamshi ambayo yametolewa leo asubuhi na waziri wa ulinzi Mheshimiwa Eugene Omalo, wakati amesema ya kwamba yeye ndio alinileta katika siasa na kwa hiyo lazima nimheshimu. Na ningependa kusema hivi kwamba mimi kuingia siasa ya Kenya sio Eugene Omalo ambaye aliniingiza katika siasa. Nilianza siasa yangu mwaka wa 2013 nikijaribu kuwania ubunge wa kiti cha Kimilili, na nilikuwa katika tikiti ya chama cha UDF, chama ambacho kilikuwa kinaongozwa na Musalia Mudavadi. Wakenya wengi wanakumbuka kwamba wakati huo Eugene Omalo alikuwa mwenye kiti ama kinara wa chama cha New Ford Kenya, na alikuwa na candidate wake Professor Nicholas Miu Toiwa. Kwa hivyo hii ni wazi kwamba sio yeye alinileta katika siasa. Jambo la pili ambalo yeye alisema kwamba mimi wakati nimekuja Nairobi kwamba niliishi katika nyumba yake huko Westlands. Ndio, nakubali. Wakati nimefika Nairobi kama nimechaguliwa mbunge, na yeye aliniambia ako na nyumba apartment huko Westlands ambayo angependa kuniuzia na atanipatia muda, kwa sababu ilikuwa ninunue hiyo nyumba kupitia kwa mpango wa mortgage wa Parliamentary Service Commission, na akaniambia hakuna shida, hata kama itachukua muda miezi 2 miezi 3, nyumba ndio hii nimekupatia na funguo, wewe ishi ndani ukiendelea kuprocess payment kupitia kwa mortgage ya bunge la kitaifa. Na wakati nilipiana makaratasi kwa bunge la kitaifa ndio waweze kuprocess ili ninunue ile apartment yake, iligundulia kwamba ile nyumba haikuwa yake, alikuwa pia amenunua kwa mtu mwingine na alikuwa hajamaliza kulipa. Kwa hivyo ilikuwa na vitu vile ambavyo tunaita kwa Kiingereza encumbrance, na hiyo ikakosa kukutana na vile viwango ambavyo vilikuwa vimewekwa na PSC, na hiyo ndio ilifanya nikaondoka katika ile nyumba. Kwa hivyo sikuwa nakaa kwa ile nyumba yake, katika ile nyumba yake free, nilikuwa nimekaa hapo ili nipange kupitia kwa mortgage ya bunge ninunue, lakini ilikuwa na encumbrances nyingi ambayo ilifanya clerk wa bunge ya kitaifa akaniambia nitafute nyumba nyingine, na nikafanya hivyo, hiyo nyumba ikapatikana na nikanunua na nikaondoka. Yeye vile vile anasema ya kwamba alinunulia gari yangu ambayo mimi naendesha sasa hivi ya hii V8. Hii V8 alisema si kwamba alinisaidia kununua hii gari ya V8, lakini aliendelea kufanya mambo yake ya ukora na ya utapeli vile anajulikana kuanzia miaka mingi. Yeye baada ya mimi kupiga kelele na wabunge wengine akachaguliwa waziri tena, baada ya kufutwa na kuambiwa kwamba atapelekwa kuwa ambassador wa Kenya huko Uganda. Baada ya yeye sasa kuapoidiwa tena Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, alifurahi sana, akaniita akaniambia kuna rafiki yangu anauza magari huko Yaya na hapo na gari mpya ya V8 ambaye anauza shilingi milioni 11,700, na akaniuliza ni pesa ngapi ambayo ningeweza kuweka ndani ili balance yeye nilipie. Mimi nikamwambia pesa ambayo niko nayo ni shilingi milioni 7. Na tukaenda na wafanyikazi wake wa ofisi na Jeff Matumbai, mimi nikalipa milioni yangu 7, nikachukua gari nikaondoka, na ile balance ya shilingi milioni 4,200 ilikuwa ilipwe na yule waziri Eugene Wamalwa. Baada ya mwaka mmoja mimi nikapata barua kutoka kwa wakili kwamba nimepatiwa siku 7 nilipe deni ya hilo gari, na nilipochelewa kidogo kwa sababu nilijua kwamba zile hela zililipwa na waziri Eugene Wamalwa. Waziri Eugene Wamalwa kupitia na ule wakili wa Smart Cars wakaendelea vile vile kufanya ule ukora wao, na wakaenda huko wakapeleka pia kule kotini na wakafaila ile petition ya kutaka koti ili declare kwamba mimi nimekuwa mtu fukara, bankruptcy proceedings. Niliweka bidii nikatafuta zile shilingi milioni 4,200 nikalipa. Kwa hivyo matamshi yake kwamba alinunulia gari ni uongo mtupu, na ni kitu ambayo ilifanya karibu nikuwe declared bankrupt, nikifikiria kwamba yeye alikuwa amelipa zile hela. Na ningeomba pia waziri Eugene Wamalwa akumbuke ya kwamba mimi ni kijana mdogo, na pengine haelewi njia ambayo pengine mtu unaweza pitia ili upate mtoto. Haelewi matatizo ambayo mzazi anapitia ili alee mtoto afikie umri wangu na kiwango changu. Na ningetaka awaheshimu watoto ya wenyewe. Hawezi lala usingizi hapa Nairobi kama waziri miaka hii yote, alafu uone ndoto yangu ya siasa inang'aa kuliko yako, ukafikiria utaamka tu leo asubuhi na kumteremsha chini. Yeye ameshinda kila wakati akisema kwamba mimi nimekuwa nikimtukana. Mimi sijamtukana. Nilikuwa tu namwambia ya kwamba wakati alikuwa waziri wa maji, mkoa wa Magharibi ndiyo maji yalipotea zaidi katika taps zetu. Wakati amekuwa waziri wa devolution na bwana Wycliffe Ambassa Oparanya akiwa mwenyekiti wa council ya magavana hapa Kenya, gavana Wycliffe Ambassa Oparanya alitumia akili kuliko yeye, akatafuta wafadhili wakajenga barabara ya mji wa Kakamega kutoka single lane to dual. Na wakati sasa gavana wetu wa Bungoma Wycliffe Wangamati alimutafuta kwa wakati mwingi zaidi ili pia amsaidie kama waziri wa devolution apate wale wafadhili ili waweze kujenga barabara kutoka Msukoma kwenda Kandui, hakufaulu. Mpaka ikabidi gavana Wangamati akachukua hela ya wananchi shilingi bilioni 1.2 ndio akajenga ile barabara ya kutoka Msukoma kwenda mpaka Kandui. Sasa mimi nikimkumbusha tu kwamba bwana waziri, umetumia hii nafasi ambayo umepewa na serikali, nafasi ambayo ni ya watu wa mkoa wa Magharibi, kwa manufaa yako wewe mwenyewe. Hiyo si matusi. Wakati namwambia kwamba watu wa mkoa wa Magharibi hawakuli cheo chako, watu wa mkoa wa Magharibi hawakuli ile kitambaa ambayo unabeba kwa gari yako in the name of flying the Kenyan flag, lakini watakuwa na faida kama utatumia nafasi yako kuleta maendeleo katika mkoa wa Magharibi ule wa zamani, sababu hapo ndio baraka yako imetokea. Hiyo si matusi bwana waziri. Bwana waziri, mimi nimejua umeunda chama yako kipya ya DAP. Na katika hii chama yako unatafuta wafuasi. Sasa unatumia mbinu ya kublackmail sisi wajumbe. Wewe unasema ati sisi tumenunuliwa na naibu rais ili tukutukane wewe. Ningependa kukumbusha ya kwamba sisi wabunge ndiyo tulikusaidia tukakutafuta, tukaomba Rais Uhuru Kenyatta akakuteua kama waziri wa maji mara ya kwanza baada ya mwaka 2013. Wewe ulikuwa unasupport Musalia Mudavadi na hamkufanikiwa kushinda urais na hamkuunda serikali. Kwa hivyo wabunge ndio walikusaidia ukachaguliwa katika nafasi hiyo. Tena baada ya mwaka 2017 ulikuwa umeachwa na Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Ulikuwa umeambiwa unapelekwa Uganda kuwa ambassador wa Kenya huko. Sisi wajumbe tukaleta pressure kwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Tukarai Uhuru Kenyatta, tukapiga magoti mbele ya Rais Uhuru Kenyatta. Akakuteua waziri wa devolution. Please, usitutukane. Kesho bado pia ni siku. Mambo ya Mungu ni mengi, haujui kesho itakuwa nini. Na mimi si ati mimi nakuogopa wewe bwana Eugene. Hata kama pengine ulinisaidia kwa wakati mmoja ama mwingine, hiyo haikuwa insurance sasa kwamba ukilala kazini, ukizembea kazini, ukishughulikia tu tumbo yako na familia yako, sasa hiyo haikuwa sasa ati mimi ni nyamaze. Mimi siogopi wewe bwana waziri Eugene. Niko tayari hata wewe saa hii utangaze kwamba wewe unataka kuwa mbunge wa Kimilili kwa tikiti ya DAP. Mimi niko tayari kuonana na wewe, kwa sababu mashindano haya si ya sura, si ya miaka, si ya cheo ambayo mtu unashikilia katika serikali. Mashindano yetu ya kisiasa ni ya maendeleo ambayo tumefanya na yale ambayo tunafanya. Tulienda kwenye mahali ulizaliwa, tukaelewana na watu ya Msembe kwamba wakinipigia kura nitawajengea shule. Walinipigia kura 90% na kushukuru, lakini hata na hivyo yale ambayo pia niliwaahidi nimetekeleza. Hiyo shule yako ya Msembe mwaka uliopita nilijenga darasa 15. Mwaka huu pia tayari nimejenga darasa nyingine 8. Next week na kwenda kufungua madarasa hayo 8. Yote kwa pamoja itakuwa darasa 23. Deni yako nimelipa, uachane na makasiriko. Hiyo tu ndio mimi nilikuwa nayo kwa siku ya leo. Kama mtu yako na swali kwa yale ambayo nimezungumza, niko tayari kujibu. Yes.
Labda kulingana na hayo madai, unanuia kuchukua hatua yoyote ya kisheria ama mtakabiliana kisiasa?
Hakuna hatua yoyote ya kisheria ambayo niweza chukulia huyu waziri Eugene Wamalwa. Ni mtu kumbavu tu. Huyu ni mtu ya kudili na yeye huko kwa kijiji huko. Hakuna haja ya kuenda waste time atinaenda kotini. Niko na akili ya kutosha ya kudeal na characters za kina hawa Eugene Wamalwa hao. Huyo ni mtu hawezi nitisha bwana. Huyo hawezi nitisha kabisa hata kidogo.
unakuja kwanza kutusi waziri na watu wengine.
Hayo ni matamshi ambayo ni ya kimadharau. Ya kimadharau, ati sisi payslip yetu ni negative. Kwa hivyo kile mkutano ambayo tunaenda ati sijui tunapewa bahasha na nani. Yeye anakuanga hapo akiona tukipewa bahasha. Unajua hiyo inamaanisha ya kwamba sisi wabunge ambao tunaegemea upande ya UDA ni watu ambao tuko na msimamo wetu, kwa sababu kama anasema sisi tuko payslip yetu negative, angesema ni pesa ngapi ile ambayo huwa anatupatia, sababu yeye ni waziri na amekuwa akitafuta wafuasi wajiunge na chama yake ya DAP. Amekuwa akinunua watu wale wa kununuliwa kidogo hapo wajoin chama yake. Sasa angekwambia amenunua wabunge ngapi wale ambao wameingia katika chama ile ya UDA. Matamshi kama hayo tu inatoka kwa mtu ambaye yako na makasiriko, mtu ambaye hana umuhimu wowote, mtu ambaye ameenda katika redio ya kitaifa badala atumie nafasi hiyo kuelezea watu wa jamii ya Mlembe ni ipi ametumia ili nafasi kama waziri kubadilisha maisha yao. Anaenda kusema ati wajumbe wapya ati payslip yao ni negative. Ndio paymaster wetu wanaonanga payslip iko negative. Nafikiri that is a very unfortunate and it can only come from a person whose head is empty, a person who has got nothing to write home about, and that also confirms that this Eugene Wamalwa is not even the person of a caliber of a cabinet minister.
Lakini unakubali kwamba mheshimiwa CS alikusaidia kwa wakati mmoja.
Unajua maisha ya wanadamu, the life of human beings is symbiotic in nature. We all assist each other. Our life is symbiotic in nature. You cannot claim that I've never assisted Eugene or he has never assisted me. Like I have said before here, that in 2017 we were in the same party called Jubilee, and he was the second Jubilee appointment after Ken Lusaka. All the meetings that we did across Bungoma County, he was part of the Atwoli. And when he came in my constituency, because I was the one flying the Jubilee flag, he was saying, vote for Didmus Wekesa Barasa. If that is the kind of support that he claims to have extended to me, I am not denying, I'm saying that is a fact. But that support was not extended to me by him to mean that I don't say you are not using your position to improve the life of the people of Mlembe. It was not an insurance to make me zip my mouth that when Eugene doesn't use his position to bring water in the people of Western Kenya, to assist the Western Kenya governors, get donors to tarmac our roads. It was never, there was no agreement about myself not saying that, not saying so. So if there is any other Kenyan who will think that he will assist me tomorrow to make me keep quiet when he makes a mistake, that is not what you agree when you are assisting a person. Like I have said here, our support to each other, our coexistence as human beings is symbiotic in nature. I've given you a newspaper that confirms that I played a key role in Eugene Wamalwa's reappointment into the cabinet. So in fact, I have assisted him most than any other person. I say so because his campaigning for me in Kimilili, I may say, was beneficial, but was not significant. It was not significant because I won on a Jubilee ticket. I am the only person from Western Kenya. I'm the only member of Parliament from Western Kenya who was elected on Jubilee and is serving a first term. The rest of Jubilee members of Parliament are serving second and a third term. And if the Honorable Eugene Wamalwa had the required support from Western Kenya, specifically in Bungoma and Trans Nzoia, then we could be having more Jubilee members of Parliament from Trans Nzoia. In Trans Nzoia, where he comes from, there is no single member of parliament representing a single constituency elected on Jubilee Party apart from Joshua Kuchunyi himself. His own constituency that he served as a member of parliament. His member of parliament is Honorable Caleb Amisi, elected on ODM ticket. So he cannot claim, even in Trans Nzoia County, in Trans Nzoia County Assembly, Jubilee Party is not the majority. So this one tells you that even though he appeared in my constituency to campaign for me, his support for me was insignificant. I say so because in my whole constituency, there is no single Jubilee MCA. All MCAs are independent. 2 are independent. 1 is Federal Party of Kenya, and another one is Fort Kenya. So when he tells you that he campaigned for me, that I won because of him, ask him, why are you selective? You are campaigning for 6 peace. In Bungoma, the governor was Fort Kenya. Senator was Fort Kenya. Women rep was Fort Kenya. In the community where I come from, I largely won because of my connection with my people. And I can even largely say that I was also being supported by Ken Lusaka, who was running for governor of Bungoma, by virtue of the number of votes he got in community constituency. So the support for Eugene Wamalwa for me in community constituency, if we can quantify, is very significant. Even if he could have stayed in Trans Nzoia not to come to community, I would still have won. If how Jubilee performed in Trans Nzoia, where he comes from, is something to go by.
Asante bwana.